It's spring here in Australia and the land feels alive. The birds are singing and everywhere I look something new is sprouting. The garden's been generous too. My grandma, pumpkin, potluck and rockmelon seedlings are all shooting up, eager as ever to meet the sun. And today I'm planting pawpaw seeds, a new venture for me. They're more suited to a warmer place, so I don't know if they'll make it through. But out here we're always trying our hand, letting the land tell us what it needs and what it wants to keep. I'm sowing the pawpaw seeds about 1 to 2 centimetres deep. I'm just popping the seeds in first and then I'll just cover them up with a bit more of the soil or the seed raising mix. But I'm putting 2 or 3 seeds into each hole because I'm not sure if they're really even going to come up or not yet. And once I'm finished covering the pawpaw seeds up with the seed raising mix, I'll give them a good water with a seaweed solution. And today's list of tasks also includes making impossible pie, a sweet custardy pie with a hint of coconut. I learned about it in Lana's permaculture class. I'd never had it before, but one taste and I was hooked. It's funny how life brings you new things just when you're ready for them. First, there's mail waiting from some friends that I've made through YouTube. Naomi sent me a gift and so did Cathi. So Cathi and Naomi sent me these gifts ages ago, but I've just been waiting for the right time where I've had space and time to look at and appreciate the kindness that they've shown to me. Dear Tina and Paul, I hope this finds you well and warm. I'm glad you can use it. Congratulations on a big milestone. From Country Mouse Farmhouse, Naomi. Dear Tina, I hope these flowers bloom and bring you lots of joy. Love, Cathi. Mixed Sweet Pea Seeds 2024. Happy growing. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to put these seeds into the seedling tray right now. This looks like a great book. It's all about pumpkin growing, which pumpkin varieties to grow, how to grow them well, how to save the seeds, where to grow them, growing them in difficult climates, when to pick them, curing them, all sorts of things. And though we've never met in person, it's like I know Cathi and Naomi through their videos that I've watched, and I know their words and I know their kindness. The sweet pea seeds bring back memories of my grandmother who adored their blooms. Though the flowers aren't edible, I pop the seeds into the soil thinking of her. I can almost see her hands doing the same so many years ago. A garden tended with care, and the sweet peas bringing in the bees and the host of memories. So I take Cathi's sweet pea seeds and press them gently into the seed raising mix, remembering how my grandmother used to grow these lovely flowers. The sweet peas are hardy little things, but they appreciate a little bit of help along the way. I think you're meant to soak the seeds overnight to soften them up and make it easier for them to sprout. And Lana also told us that with seeds you should sow them about double the depth of the size of the seed. And yeah, so sweet peas like the cooler side of spring, so you're supposed to plant them when the weather is still mild. So right now we've had warning this week actually that there's might be frost about 20 kilometres away from us, and that's in October in Australia. So that's a bit out of the ordinary, but once the sweet peas are in the soil, I'll give them a light watering with some seaweed solution. And since this is my first time sowing sweet pea seeds, I've put about 3 seeds in each hole because I'm not sure what their germination rate will be. My grandmother said that the sweet pea blooms were like old friends coming back every year. And I think I understand that now, the way that flowers and memories grow together. So the reason this pie is impossible is because the ingredients separate into 3 layers while baking. So the heavy flour sinks to the bottom of the dish and pretends it's a pastry, and the light coconut floats up to the top to make a kind of crust or topping, and the egg and milk stay happily in the middle, making it a delicious custard. So I'm using gluten-free flour and lactose-free milk in this recipe. Though some other people have said that it's called impossible pie because it's impossibly easy. I don't know if that's true or not, but this mixture is super easy, and that's always the winner in my book. And in a quiet corner of the garden, we've got a young honeysuckle banksia tree waiting patiently in its pot, ready to take root in the ground. And we've also got a Pistacia chinensis. I'm not sure how to pronounce that actually. It adds beauty in its own way, especially when the seasons turn. Our fruit trees are lush and green this spring. We followed Lana's advice, giving them heaps of wood chip mulch, seaweed and Nutritic BAM foliar spray, and the trees are thriving, and even the nectarine has 5 fruits this year. Last year we only had 3, but they are worth every bit of the work. Paul will tell everyone that I'm a bit of a messy cook. I'm a bit like that chef off the Muppets actually. And any time I've cooked anything, Paul will come in and said, "You've had a party." This is our crab apple tree. Its leaves are turning red. And this is our cherry tree. Can you believe how green those leaves are? And we've also got our plum tree here as well. I'm just amazed at how healthy they're looking. I was holding on to a thin shred of hope that this choco might come back, but it's well and truly dead. And this is our pink lady apple tree. Its leaves are coming back nice and green as well. And this mulberry tree was transplanted about, 6 months ago, and its leaves are coming back nice and green now too. Now I just need to melt this butter to put it in with the mixture. Look at this golden goodness. Imagine in the olden days when they had to make their own butter and all the effort that they had to go to get it. This old pile of compost and grass clippings and things is where I might plant some pumpkins or gramias soon. And our olive tree is flowering. It's pretty young though, this tree, so I'm not expecting any olives anytime soon. It's like the tree is dancing in the wind. And our mower is completely broken now after the engine blew up. So in this recipe you're meant to use almond flakes, but I didn't have any almond flakes. I only had almond slithers, so I've used those instead. And you don't have to put any almond in them in this impossible pie at all, I don't think. I don't think it would make any difference, but I thought that it might make the pie a little bit healthier. One of our loquat trees, which has been in the ground for a year or two, is probably about 1 metre high now, so it's growing quite fast. One of our orange trees is doing quite well. And this beautiful purple Cootamundra wattle, I can't wait till it flowers. You know, I think the real happy ending isn't in some grand finish. It's found in falling in love with the simple parts of life. The first sip of tea or coffee in the morning, that warm comfort that settles into your bones. It's in letting yourself get lost in the smell of fresh rain, feeling the world slow down just a little. And sometimes it's the quiet joy of driving down familiar roads with the windows down, the air tingling in your hair like it did in the old days, with your favourite song playing. No place to be but right there. Or opening a book you've left for too long on the shelf. Letting the words take you somewhere you'd almost forgotten. And there's magic in those ordinary moments. A sunset spilling colours across the sky, a surprise of laughter that bubbles up from nowhere, the feeling of being wrapped in a soft blanket by a crackling fire. These little things, they fill the cracks we sometimes don't even know are there. They remind us that life is stitched together in moments like these, ones that we often take for granted. Not everything is perfect, and we don't have everything we want, but life doesn't have to be flawless to be beautiful. Sometimes it's enough to just find joy in what we have and in these pieces of happiness tucked away in the simplest of things. Paul plants the comfrey today, a gift from our permaculture teacher Lana. We've only got one final class left with her now, and I feel a strange mix of gratitude and sadness. Every lesson she's taught us has been like planting seeds of its own, growing our knowledge, our confidence, and our connection to this land. Lana showed us how to read the soil, to see the life hidden within each inch of earth, and to care for it as we care for each other. And watching Paul tuck those comfrey roots into the ground, I feel an ache for this chapter soon closing, but also deep thanks. Her teachings have rooted themselves in us, like the comfrey, destined to spread and strengthen us with each passing season. We're adding some compost to the roots of the comfrey while we're planting it into the ground. Growing comfrey is a powerful way to improve soil health and fertility. Its roots draw up nutrients from the ground like potassium, calcium and phosphorus from deep in the soil, and then it accumulates in their leaves. And these nutrients become accessible to other plants when the leaves break down or when they're used as mulch. Comfrey leaves are rich in nitrogen, making them a fantastic addition to compost heaps or as green mulch around plants. It helps speed up the decomposition process and enriches the final product. So when the comfrey leaves break down to form a dense layer of organic matter on the soil surface, it helps it retain moisture, and this can be especially helpful in dry climates or during periods of low rainfall. And because comfrey has large, deep roots, it helps aerate the soil as they grow and die back, which improves the soil structure and promotes better drainage. You can make a comfrey tea by steeping the leaves in water, which can be used as a liquid fertiliser for other plants. This homemade fertiliser provides an organic boost, especially for fruiting and flowering plants due to comfrey's high potassium content. And comfrey's vigorous root system holds soil in place, helping prevent erosion on slopes or in areas where soil might otherwise be easily washed away. So comfrey is an incredible companion for improving soil health, enhancing nutrient availability, and supporting the growth of surrounding plants. It's an ideal ally in any permaculture or sustainable garden. Vetch has found its way into our garden, sprouting up from the wood chips like an uninvited guest, but maybe not unwelcome. Though some see it as a weed, vetch is actually a silent helper, quietly improving the soil in ways we don't expect. Vetch is a legume, meaning that it works with bacteria in the soil to pull nitrogen from the air and store it in the roots, so that nitrogen enriches the soil over time. While we didn't plant it, vetch has a role here. Hopefully it'll cover any bare spots, reduce erosion, and feed the soil as it grows. Sometimes even a weed can be an ally if we're willing to see it that way. And it supports healthier growth for nearby plants. Its roots reach deep, breaking up compact soil, making space for air and water to flow more easily. So we're just putting the protective netting over the nectarine tree. We've only got 5 nectarines growing on the tree at the moment, and we don't really want to share them with the birds because there's not that many. So I've put my impossible pie mixture into a grease tin. And we don't have an oven out here, so it goes into the barbecue, and I'll bake it in there for about 35-40 minutes until it's nice and golden brown on top. So you're meant to let the impossible pie sit there and rest for about half an hour before serving, and it helps it keep it all together. But we were so enthusiastic, we wanted to cut it up straight away. And when we removed the tin from around it, it sort of cracked the pie a little bit. But never mind, it tasted just the same. The impossible pie was delicious, and it didn't last more than a day. It was gobbled up by everyone. Even I liked it, and I'm not one for sweets. So by dusk the pie was gone, and the little world around us shifts again, and the possums come out to play. The baby possum will cling to its mother till it's about 9 months old, and if it's a female it'll stay close to her, but if it's a male it will head off into the wide world. It's a curious, beautiful world we live in, and the land here has so much to teach us. There's always more to learn.